Happy Tuesday, Jar of Pain babies. Wow, it is great to be in your headphones today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Jar of Pain podcast, lovingly titled Built Bauldina Tough, after my great-great-great-grandmother from Bath, North Dakota. You'll learn about her in the episode. This is another fun episode, another great episode. Another episode where we did a twofer. I always find the second episode of the twofer recordings where we do two in one day, the Bang Bangs, always more fun. I don't know what it is. Maybe we're warmed up. Maybe we're sick of it. I don't know. It's just fun. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. It's just been super chill, and I'm very relaxed, energized, recuperated. I've been playing guitar for the last hour before I finished up editing this. Man, I miss playing guitar. I'm not very good anymore. I am not, but it is fun to learn. It's a fun little side project I got going on right now. I hope you have a great rest of your week. A couple reminders here at the top. You can ask a question at jarofpain.com. As always, please give us your questions. We are running low on questions once again. We have a show coming up as well on December 7th at the Eau Claire Improv. This will be our last show with this Jar of Pain format. We're not going away forever, but we want to kind of change things up a little bit, evolve it. We got some great ideas, so it's going to take a little time to figure that out. But man, I appreciate you guys sticking out this last year. If you don't have tickets or need tickets, you can find a link at jarofpain.com, or you can go to volume1tickets.org for tickets. They're $15. I have a little tickle in my throat. I might cough. It feels weird. Oh. Anyways, thank you so much. The podcast is going nowhere, by the way. This podcast will be around until we get nuked by Russia. So that could be 2 weeks. That could be years. Who knows? We're living in a crazy world. Woo! Once again, I appreciate you guys. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are safe. Do not apologize for your own existence. You are allowed to exist as a human just because you're born. That's all it takes. You were born. You're allowed to be here. I love you all. Enjoy this week's episode, Built Bauldina Tough. Thanks so much. Bye.
Jonathan, what time is it? 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 Jonathan, what time is it?
Welcome back to the Jar of Pain podcast. My name is Matt.
My name's Ben, gang.
And this is the podcast where we answer all of life's toughest questions, from silly to serious, submitted by you, the audience, at jarofpain.com. Once you submit at jarofpain.com, it gets into this little old jar here, and then we pull from them after. We don't even see them. If you have a question you'd like to ask, you can ask that at jarofpain.com as well. It's very easy. God, it's easy. You just Google Jar of Pain. We're the only thing called Jar of Pain. There is a Christian podcast that has an episode called Jar of Pain that I found. But they were putting emotions in different jars.
Oh, okay.
And so like one was like Jar of Pain, Jar of Joy. It was weird.
Oh, so they were like naming the jars.
They were like talking about a specific emotion, but like as if it was a jar.
But like to name the episode, they were naming the jars, and then someone was like Jar of Pain, and then another person went title.
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
Okay.
And just a reminder, we do have a show coming up on December 7th at the Eau Claire Improv, the last Jar of Pain as you know it, where we take some time off to evolve this thing and see where we go.
Pearl Harbor's not the only day that'll live in infamy.
That's right. Also, Jar of Pain on December 7th at the Eau Claire Improv. You can find a link to buy tickets at jarofpain.com. Also, we are in Volume 1's Best of the Chippewa Valley poll this year. We've been nominated for Best Local Podcast. If you guys can throw a vote, that'd be great. Volume1.org/best of.
Stack that resume.
Yeah, it would just be great. My band won it once. It got us a few gigs in town, so I think it would be. It's a fun. It technically is a popularity contest. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But it's also fun to vote, to like go through the whole thing and kind of like vote for what you like in town. Like, what are your favorite things? And like, we all have our own favorites, but it's cool to see like what everybody else is enjoying too. And maybe if it's like a Mexican spot you've never tried, you're like, oh, I gotta check that place out. I got a lot of votes, you know? So yeah, volume1.org/best of. You can vote for Jar of Pain for Best Local Podcast. Let's take this town by fire. Should we get to a question?
Don't gotta ask me twice. First, Susie Q. What is a moment where you felt at home despite your actual location?
Oh, this is a good question.
You know, London.
London. Huh. You
when-
loved it.
I love London. It's just overcast and filled with history. And when I went there, I do remember this sense of not feeling like out of place. It felt like I used to live in like Burlington, Wisconsin, which is like a little bit out of Madison, Milwaukee area.
Okay.
And every time I go down there, I'm just like, man, this is it. This is where I was born. This was home.
Yeah.
And it felt like that. It felt like coming back to a place that I wasn't there for a long time.
Yeah. I traveled a lot in my 20s.
Yeah.
I was a real cool guy in a band that toured like full time. So I was on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And when you're on the road, you really miss home. You miss the stability. Like I would crave like mowing my parents' lawn, like things that are just like normal, average, and mundane. You start to crave that because it's the antithesis of the chaos that you're living in, and like the bad food and late nights and early mornings and long drives and, playing to 11 people in West Virginia. We got roped into this organization called RIFO, which stands for Rock Your Face Off. I think our booking agent suggested it, but they were people. It was a Christian organization. They were people who would host traveling bands at their house,
Mm-hmm.
and they totally got it. Like they knew you'd come in late. They knew you were probably leaving early. Maybe you had a day off, but they just like let you take over the basement, essentially, right?
Nice.
They just like let you into their house.
Yeah.
And they would set their houses up for this. Like they would have a basement bedroom with like 2 bunk beds in it. So, like everyone had a bed.
Yeah.
They would feed you incredible home cooked meals. And it was just so nice when you're on the road and you have no stability to like have a place to rest that was free, warm, like loving. Like they weren't like, we only do this because Jesus exists.
Right.
Their whole thing, like their mission statement was to show the love of God and Jesus through acts of service to strangers without pushing it upon them. Like they were walkers, not talkers.
Yeah,
they were like,
yeah.
we're gonna show hospitality. That's like what we're gonna give to these people who are frankly struggling. You're just mentally, it's a wash.
Yeah.
You have the insane high adrenaline rush of a show, and then you just put yourself into a tube on the highway for 6 hours. Like it's just not good for your brain. There's just no way it's good. And you're poor, and you're eating like crap, and you're not sleeping, and you're probably drinking and doing drugs. Anyway, so to have these there's like a house in Pennsylvania, a beautiful cabin in the woods in the hills of the Appalachians.
Yeah.
And we would have their whole basement. They had a ping pong table. They had a little TV area with chairs. They had beds enough. They had like 8 to 10 beds. So like that place is just like very warm in my heart. They just like helped us out, and they absolutely did not have to. And there are probably a dozen we stayed at over the years that would keep coming back to. And they became like really like, they became friends, and they're people we would never would have met otherwise. There's some of them we never met.
Yeah.
Like there was a guy outside of Philadelphia. He had a camper that had, plenty of room to sleep for everybody.
Yeah.
But just a camper. It was outside of his house. You would walk in and use the bathroom once in a while, but they were never home. And he would just let people on his property.
Yeah.
And, like you have to apply and you have to like submit an application, and so they can check you out.
Yeah.
When you request this. But, we'd come to the kitchen in the morning and they'd have cereal and Pop-Tarts and coffee. But we never, like these people we never saw, we never met.
Yeah.
Just crazy things like that just really warm your heart. And what traveling did for me is it really helped me understand that the world is not as scary as you think it is.
Yeah.
When you grow up in the Midwest, it's kind of like big cities, bad people everywhere. You know, because the Midwest is like the Shire of America, to use a Lord of the Rings
Title.
Good title.
Shire of America.
And like, so you're kind of scared. You're very protected here. It's very, you know, safe, kind communities, greenery, rivers, lakes. A lot of the world's problems, common problems worldwide, don't really exist here.
Yo, if somewhere's getting nuked, it's a coastal city. Maybe Chicago.
That's actually not true. I just watched a YouTube video on that.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Dakotas, Montana, or Colorado.
Who's nuking Dakotas?
And actually, Wisconsin is on the list because if it's Russia,
Yeah.
the quickest way is straight north. They're not going over the ocean. They're going straight north, which is going to be Midwest.
What do you mean straight north?
Russia is going to send missiles north over the pole. They're not going to send them all the way to New York or LA. It's going to be over the pole.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of our nukes are.
Yeah.
There are silos in northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin as well, because the quickest way is north. It's interesting, isn't it?
That is very interesting. I
As we
didn't know
sit
that.
on the verge of a possible nuclear attack from Russia somewhere.
Yeah, I was really excited that they were going to get blasted and then we were going to have to survive. I don't want to be ground zero.
Ben, if we get nuked, it's not like life stops. We're still going to have to go to work.
You telling me we're still going to do the podcast if it gets nuked?
Yeah.
That's how much we love you guys.
Well, life goes on.
Yeah.
You can't just stop living.
Yeah, you know what?
It's an interesting thing to think about because you kind of think if there's a war, everything stops. Absolutely not true.
No. We all know that if a war is going on, life continues. But there's no way that there's going to be nuclear craters and fallout in the atmosphere, and we're just going to be like, oh yeah, I need to get my Amazon delivery done today.
That life will change, certainly.
Yeah.
But you will still have to provide food and shelter for yourself somehow.
No, the first second a nuke goes off, day one, cannibalism.
No.
Someone's going to get eaten immediately.
No. There's actually a great show about this called Jericho, where the U.S. gets nuked multiple places. And it's about them like figuring it. They're like in a small town. And they're just like kind of trying to figure out the new rules of the world, you know? And like all communication is shut down. And
Yeah.
like all of a sudden supplies start showing up from like China and Europe and getting airdropped to them. But then there's a fight for those resources and they're fighting with other small towns. It's a very good show. It only lasted 2 seasons. I loved it when I found it. I don't know if it holds up.
Yeah.
I was like in high school and I found it. I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful love story in there, of course. Love in a nuclear blast title. People are generous. People are kind. I have to believe that. Majority of people are kind. And I think evil people are few and far between. And most people's instincts are to be good to one another.
Was that the first question? Or was that the
Second.
second question? Oh, that was the first question.
Wow. That's a good first one.
That was a good first one.
Yeah.
What the fuck were we talking about for the first 15 minutes?
We've only been talking for 10 minutes. We had that thing that I cut out.
Yeah.
It went for quite a while.
But then you started talking about touring in a band.
Yeah. Feelings like home.
Okay, so that was the first question.
Yeah. Wow. We really ran with it. So next question.
How did we get to nuclear?
I have no idea.
I don't have the question out. We're going to have to roll the tapes back.
I have no idea how we got there, but that's what this podcast does best. The questions are merely a prompt for nuclear treaty discussion.
They are but a guide into
Our brains.
our brains.
Yeah. Dude, I have no idea. Oh, because I said I found I don't know if it's worthwhile.
The second question.
Yeah.
The second questions. Have you guys ever kissed each other?
Yeah.
Last show.
Last show we did it on stage.
Last show. And then you know what? I'm going to let them know how the sausage was made. It was a desperate act to get energy into the crowd because
Yes.
we thought we were dying up there.
Yes.
And let me tell you, the payoff, not worth it.
We just kind of kissed.
We just did a little kiss and everyone just kind of accepted it. And
Yeah, because I
Wrong
was
crowd.
talking to this girl a month ago. She goes, "Yeah, you guys kissed on stage," and I'm like, "We did." And then I texted Ben. I'm like, "Did we kiss on stage?" He goes, "Yeah, it was a desperate act. We do that sometimes." Jar of Pain, the performance, the live show.
That's where you're gonna
As
get
you just
kisses.
heard, we went from feeling like home to nuclear war. Sometimes we can get off on a tangent, and the air kind of gets sucked out of the room. So we have a few things.
We have some saves.
Should we tell them another save? Because I have one on top of my head. Or should we keep it secret?
Well, I mean, rip it so that way it'll entice them to come to the live show.
USA chant.
Oh yeah,
USA chant is a classic Jar of Pain maneuver.
an USA chant gets.
And it works 100% of the time. I remember before Comedy in the Park, I told you, if this starts going bad, go into USA.
Because
It works.
no other country has as good a chant of their own name
Yeah.
than USA.
You can't go England. Actually, that's kind of nice.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Here's the thing: 3 syllables,
Yeah.
3 short syllables. USA, USA. What are you gonna be like? Great Britain, Great Britain.
Yeah.
No, okay. USA,
Congo.
Germany. Don't want to chart that.
Yeah.
No,
I think they probably are against chanting
they're
Germany.
done. I'm pretty sure they're like, we don't do swastikas or chanting anymore.
Yeah, I think they probably teach their kids how do they teach their kids in Germany about the Holocaust?
Oh, they teach them.
They must. They
They have
simply
to.
must. And they're like, so something not so chill happened that we think you guys should know about.
Actually, there's a Family Guy episode where they're in Germany and there's like a tour guide, and then Brian's he's checking a pamphlet of all the history, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, how come there's nothing between 1939 and 1945?" And then the guy's just like, "Because nothing happened," and then they just like move on.
Yeah, I just imagine being in class. Like, how young do they teach them? Probably young.
I bet that class consists of I bet it's like a 2-week class, and then 13 of those 14 days is them they're like, "Hey, you're going anytime you tell someone you're German,
You're going to encounter this.
they're gonna think you're a Nazi. They're gonna think you had a great uncle
Yeah.
or a great grandfather,
And you did.
and you did.
And you did. You actually did. Yeah.
Statistically, you did. There's like 4 of you in here probably didn't, but everyone else, you did.
Whew. Yeah, that has to be part of the national curriculum.
Yeah, that's weird. There's definitely.
But do you think so? History is written by the victors.
Yeah.
How do you teach that when you're the loser? Is it very filled with how awesome the USA? Are we all right, you guys are chill now, but you have to teach your kids that USA is better, and we've got your back at all times, and we're very powerful, and just remember what we did because we can do it again. I think that's a reasonable question.
That is a reasonable question. I don't know.
Wow,
That's
we're really
that's a good
into
question.
worldwide atrocities this episode.
We are.
Did we even
I
answer the
can't fathom-
question?
Oh, is we kissed?
Oh, we kissed.
Have we
Yeah.
kissed?
Yeah,
we
we
have.
did.
Yeah, come to live shows.
And you might see it.
You might see it again.
If you don't make any noise, something incredible will happen.
If you were not entertained, we might suck face.
Yeah, that's the lesson here. December 7th, Eau Claire Improv. Your chance to see us make out.
Jarpain.com, get tickets there.
Yep.
What would the world look like if weed was legal, but alcohol wasn't?
Oh, it'd be very chill.
That's a good question.
It'd be very chill.
It would be
Are we saying
literally reverses.
okay,
You know what I'm going to
there'd
say?
be less bar fights?
More white people in prisons.
Oh yeah, because alcohol's still there.
Yeah.
It's just illegal.
It's just illegal.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be that different. There'd be a general atmosphere change of the places you're hanging out. They'd be a lot more cozy, and the food would probably be better everywhere.
There would be way more snacks.
Yeah.
But
We did have alcohol illegal at one point, and that was the prohibition. And there were gangsters and rum runners and moonshiners,
Mobs would be crazy.
and they would be more in our country
It would be more
because they do have like cartels and stuff that bring drugs into our country now, but it's not really on U.S. home turf.
people would go to sleep with like hard seltzers. You know what I mean? Like a CBD gummy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
people are like, yeah, this isn't even weed, it's just CBD gummy. And then people would be like, yeah, this isn't even alcohol, it's a hard seltzer. And then they would, right before bed,
Yeah,
they're like, it just fucking takes the edge out. You know what I mean?
yeah. It would be a little different, but it would be more similar than this question asker thinks.
Yeah,
I think it would just shift.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never really thought about that.
Yeah, that is the alternative history TV show I would like to see.
Oh yeah, I would like that.
Yeah. If you're here with 3 single hotties, how do you choose which one to take home? Firstly, I would like to say that your confidence
Congratulations.
is crazy.
Yeah.
I would love to live in your head for a day.
And this is from a live show.
This is
I
from
wish
a
this
live
would have came
show.
up in the live show
Oh my
because
god.
we would have definitely gotten that guy laid.
We would have gotten him laid or absolutely bodied.
Yeah, one
One or the other.
And I'm telling you right now, I would have pulled him up on stage and I would have been like, okay, pick one, see if you're compatible, and we'll interview you both right now, live on stage. Because that is a dream show I've always had for us.
That would have been so
is
fun.
to do a blind date special show where it's still questions from the jar, but they discuss them and we watch them discuss them.
That's a fun idea, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
That's a damn good idea.
And it's like a Valentine's Day show.
Fun.
Yeah. People have a real need for companionship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody. We're all different. But I do think overall companionship is a net positive on your life.
Mm-hmm.
The internet has ruined dating.
Absolutely.
And I think that idea could help a few people fall in love
Mm-hmm.
if we did it multiple times. I can't guarantee every time, but... And I think that's the most important thing for our generation right now.
Yeah.
Is young people are tired of the apps, and it's a bloodbath out there. They're tired of hookup culture. They want something real. But we're also concerned with coming off as weird. Like, you can't, it's not societally, it's not accepted so much anymore to just like approach someone in the wild. It still is in some ways.
Yeah.
But like, my grandparents, they met at an adult mixer at the church. Like, there were events held to get people to interact with each other in real life, like a singles dance, like
Yeah.
a mixer. And that's where they met. They met at a dance in a church basement. That kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore.
My great.
Maybe it does, and I'm just out of it.
No, here's the thing. No, I agree. I think like people like hooking up at a bar, introducing each other in the wild is like not existent, or it's like dying. You know what I mean? But my great grandfather
Yeah.
met my great grandmother in Canada. So he was Canadian. She was Polish. Only spoke Polish. But he saw her one day and was like, I want to be with her. And so he went up to her and tried to talk to her. She didn't speak a lick of English,
Yeah.
a lick of French. So he learned Polish
Wow.
to get my great grandma.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
My great grandma had a hotel in North Dakota.
Yeah.
Her name was Bauldina, and she had a hump on her back, and she was an ugly, terrible woman. Her dad built her a hotel to run because he's like, she's never going to be with anybody, so she has to have a business.
Yeah.
And my great grandpa, he was just a guy who, like, he was either widowed or he had gotten, like, he had messed up his past relationship. So he's just like this older guy who was like, she'll do. She's got a business.
Yeah.
And now here I am today. Less about romance. I mean, everything I've heard about this woman is terrible. She was mean. no warmth in her heart
Bro,
at all.
I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
she popped out like 14 kids.
14 kids?
They filled the hotel.
Dude, as the kids say nowadays, Bauldina's a baddie.
Yeah,
Title.
that would be funny.
Bauldina the baddie.
Yeah. So I don't want to speak ill of the dead or my family, but I guess she was awful. And no one knows how she got married or why she was attractive to anyone. And the hotel burnt down.
I don't want to speak bad about the dead or my family, but she was awful.
But we have the clock from the lobby of the hotel is at my parents' house, and I get it when they die.
That's still cool, though. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North Dakota, baby.
North Dakota.
Built different.
Built Bauldina title.
Built hump tough.
Built hump tough. That's fun. All right, let me grab two show cues.
Oh, that one says hi.
That does say hi. That's nice.
We should do that one first.
Well, obviously they're greeting us. And hey, you can get your questions answered at a show
Yes.
or by going to jarpain.com where you ask a question for free. And then we'll put it in this jar and maybe we'll pull it out.
Yeah.
Who knows? This question says hi, so we're answering it first. Who would win a battle between the Ninja Turtles and Mickey Mouse and his mouse ka tools?
Mouseketeers, maybe?
And his, it says tools. It literally says Mouseka tools.
Okay.
But maybe Mouseketeers.
It does say Mouseketools very clearly.
Yes.
I don't know what that is,
It's,
but I can tell you right now, Ninja Turtles ain't taking shit from Mickey.
Yo, they're
He's
gonna
be like, oh, a turtle, the top.
and then they're gonna freaking
And Michelangelo's gonna dagger him in the soul. Oh, be sure to hit the gift shop on the way out. I have a semi-decent Mickey impression.
That's actually a pretty damn good Mickey Mouse impression.
I've never tried that before.
Yo, don't think about it, you'll lose it. But yeah, dude, Walt Disney ain't saving you, Mickey.
No.
My boys.
That anti-Semite's got bigger things on the brain than defeating turtles.
No, he didn't even think about turtles, but now he is because they're gonna put you in the dirt. Okay,
Absolutely.
Mickey Mouse ain't coming out on top
There's no way.
of the Ninja Turtles. It just doesn't happen.
He's never faced a problem in his life. He's a king amongst Disney.
I'm trying to think.
Mickey shows up and everyone's like, "Oh, he's never had a inch of struggle in his life."
No, he's got Minnie. I don't think he has a kid though. But like all of his friends, I think maybe like Donald would be the only one who could do anything.
Donald doesn't wear pants.
Donald's a sailor though.
Turtles swim.
I'm just saying in terms of like military experience, Donald's the only one who could do anything.
Yeah, that's true. Goofy probably had a brief run in the army to pay for college for his son Max.
I think he was honorably discharged due to a head trauma incident.
Day one, he got hit, and then he's like, "Oh, gosh." He never talked like that before.
Yeah, before the head wound, he was like reporting for duty, and then he got donked, and then he was
And they're
like,
like, "What's your name? What's your name?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't remember." And they're like, "This guy's being goofy. Just call him Goofy."
He's pretty goofy.
Gosh,
Gosh.
gosh, Max. I
yeah.
hope I can save this relationship. Goofy movie.
Gosh, I'm getting divorced.
Gosh, I haven't seen your mother in years. Not a bad Goofy either.
It's good goofy, man. Gosh. I'm so lonely.
Oh no, it's a turtle. They wear bandanas. Oh,
He's got a knife.
what are those daggers? They're 3-pronged daggers. Oh, no. Walt, why'd you do this? This is the best podcast of all time.
gonna go to the next question.
This is the best podcast ever to podcast.
We're gonna get stuck on that. Would you fuck yourself as the opposite gender?
Oh yeah. Is there more to the question?
No, that's it. just your confidence is great. I would not. I did.
So like, let's play this out though.
Yeah, sure.
It has to be a scientific anomaly, right? Where you gave your DNA to Ancestry.com,
Right.
and they started fucking with it,
Right.
and they made a girl version of you.
Right.
And it was born at the same time as you, and then there's a big lawsuit, and they let all the clones out.
Well, firstly, we kind of have a continuity error there. How would I have given them my DNA if I wasn't born yet?
That's a great point. Okay,
Run it back.
run it back.
Mom gives the DNA
Why? Why would she do that?
because she's the one who's going to Ancestry.com.
Okay, you're a test tube baby.
Okay, test tube baby.
And this is, I don't really know how that works, but I'm assuming it's a lot like the back to
How about
tank
this?
stuff.
Let's take it like this.
What do we do? Why don't we do the Star
Hold on.
Wars version of cloning where
Let's-
they grow faster?
Let's do it like this. Okay, here's what happened. Mom was infertile,
Okay.
so she took her eggs out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that still means okay, let's run it back. Dad was sterile.
Okay.
Dad was sterile. Mom took her eggs out, and then they were going to inseminate the eggs.
Yep.
But then some creepy dude was like, let me take
There was
these
an
eggs.
evil scientist.
There was an evil scientist, always is. Took our eggs, and then he made one boy, one girl, from the same egg.
Yeah. Essentially fraternal twins.
Essentially.
But not,
but
but they're
not.
the same. They're exactly the same except for gender.
But due to scientific reasons that we don't have the capacity to explain, but to make this story not weird, we're not related.
yeah, it's not a brother-sister thing.
It's us a thing. It's a us thing.
It's just there's two of you and one is the opposite
If you
gender.
fuck yourself, it's not incestual.
It's masturbating.
It's masturbation.
Yeah. And I am pro
Pro-masturbation.
for obvious reasons.
Yes, because you're the
You got to get the let out.
you're the runner-up to come town mayor. So
Yeah.
you have to be.
I think it's totally fine. Now, let's twist the question a bit.
Okay.
Clone. Exact clone of you.
No. And let
It's
me tell
just
you why.
jerking off.
Let me tell you why. Well, okay. Firstly, like male me, like it's male clone.
Yeah.
No.
Hard no.
Hard no.
Fast no.
Secondly, if it was the opposite gender one, also no, because you ever do like that gender swap on Snapchat, like that?
No, I don't use Snapchat.
Kid, you ever use like any type of like filter, and you're like, oh, what would it look like if I was a girl?
No, for most of my life, I've looked like a fat girl. Before I had a beard growing up, people thought my sister had a sister because I was chubby
Funny.
with long hair
One time
and tits.
I was talking to my grandma on the phone for like an hour,
Yeah,
and she thought I was my sister.
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I have a high voice too, so not right now, but
But here's the thing. I would not fuck me as the opposite gender because I did that gender swap filter on Snapchat.
you weren't good looking, huh?
I looked like a warehouse manager named Stacy who smoked in the house. It was not good.
Yeah.
I was not in any way, shape, or form. It was cheekbones, but this nose, and it didn't combine.
I just think it would be an interesting experience to fuck yourself.
I mean, it would, because when is that ever going to happen
Yeah.
again? You know, like it would be interesting. I don't think me and she, it doesn't matter. I don't think I'd be a good fuck,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm an incredible lover.
Yeah.
You know this.
Explicitly.
I say it all the time on stage because it makes me laugh. But it's true. I'm a very giving lover. And so I'd like to see that reciprocated. 2 givers? Whoa. Be electric.
I don't think anything would get done. It would just be you two just almost jerking each other off. I think it would just be a wrestling match, and then the loser gets to come.
I hope there's a good bed frame. I hope there's a good bed frame. Because my female counterpart, she heavy set. It's in the genes.
Now, would you fuck me if I was a female? If you had like female Ben, would you fuck female Ben?
Based on your description of female Ben, I don't think we're compatible. And that's a nice way of saying
You're ugly.
no.
And you know
You're a
what?
fine-looking man.
That's fair. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, the time has come.
Time is coon.
Time has coomed. We need to manifest. Also, we need more questions. If you guys can go to jarpain.com and put some question boys in there, that'd be great. Question boys, question girls, question days.
Our jar is emaciated.
It's emaciated.
Emaciated. I was like, emancipation? Emaciated.
Yeah, emancipation is like what troubled youths do to get away from their family. I think it means like to divorce something.
I think you're right.
Because I think the Emancipation Proclamation wasn't that about the South, they be different, we're different than them, wasn't that?
Actually, that's exactly the South was like, hey, we be different. And then they were like, we want to be out of here.
I have a lot of lack of knowledge on history, so I know what they're called, but I don't know what it did.
It's not that what you said, it's how you said it. You're like, they be different. And that's what was funny to me.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I was right.
Yeah.
Ah, sick.
Well, first we have to manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give me a beat. Okay, I'm finding it. If I was a girl, I still would fuck me. If Ben was a girl, he would not fuck himself. 'Cause Stacy's had a hard life. She smokes cigarettes inside. If I was a girl, I think I'd fuck me. The jar is very fun. Put your questions in at jarofpain.com. This one's going long. The next question is good. Please give us a good one, Jar of Pain. Yeah.
That was good.
It was a little clunky, but
That was good. We
brought it home at the end.
yeah.
Live show question?
Live show.
These are always fun.
Which historical figure do you think was the kinkiest? Historical.
Define kink.
Like a freak.
Because, like, I think Genghis Khan probably had sex more than anyone's ever had sex.
Yeah, but that wasn't
kinky. That was violent and awful.
Genghis Khan is definitely kinky. I mean, if we're going that route, then Gandhi's a contender.
Gandhi is a contender.
Contender. He a little freak.
We also like don't know how these historical figures were in that part of their life. Because to be a historical figure, it's old, and like people didn't talk about it as much as they do now. Like there are porn stars with podcasts now. We know how kinky people are.
Yeah.
We're more aware of it. We're
Right.
more aware that people are doing weird stuff behind closed doors. So you really have to think like was George Washington throwing it down? He had wooden teeth.
Oh.
They actually weren't wooden teeth.
Oh, he had wood all right.
Yeah. But they were slave teeth. You know that,
Okay,
right?
here's the thing though. He paid for those teeth fair and square.
I don't think so.
He did. That's the thing that everybody leaves out. They always say it's slave teeth, but he's like, yeah, they bought them, which I know is a weird thing.
It's a really weird thing to say.
It's a weird thing to defend, but it was a common practice. That's how they made fake teeth for the rich.
Woof.
Okay.
Settled. I still don't agree with it. But thank you
That's
for-
fine. I'm just saying, have all the facts.
Yeah. Okay.
I bet Franklin Roosevelt was a little freak, with those little polio legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, his
Such
cousin.
such a horny laugh I just did. Yeah.
That was a horny laugh.
Hitler? Did he get down?
He did. He did have a kid or two. But he was also methed out his brain, so
Cum
Yeah.
was the last thing on his mind, probably.
no, I mean he definitely when he did get the cum on his mind though, he
He was
had
intense
to
about it. He was
Yeah.
intense about it.
he was I bet he fucked like he gave speeches, where it's like slow at first and then it
really ramps up.
it ramps up at the end, you're like, yeah.
I'm picturing Hitler having sex, and the Benny Hill theme song is.
I imagine his bangs got in his eyes a lot.
Yeah. Imagine that humping on top of you, and he's like. What are other historical figures? For some reason, I can't think of anyone.
Dude, I feel like Abe Lincoln fucked title.
I can't put fuck in the title. How many times do I gotta go over this?
Abe Lincoln F asterisk 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 asterisk.
No.
The people want it. Put it in the chat.
Yeah. All right, Chad.
Comments.
Walt Disney. That was a weird guy.
Yeah, he had. I mean, that's peak Hollywood. So there's no way he did it.
Oh no, Walt.
Do you think? You think?
Is that a hot dog in your pocket?
Do you think at least one time while he was fucking, he had like animators drawing?
Maybe.
Do you think in the vault of Disney?
That's in the Disney vault for sure.
Yeah.
After being in the vault for 200 years, Walt Disney's animated sex tapes finally make its release to Blu-ray and on-demand streaming on Disney Plus. In never-before-seen high-res scanned footages, we see Walt. we see Walt Disney participating in 69 Missionary Doggy Style in stunning HD color, brought to you by the Walt Disney Company. This is Walt Fucks on Disney Plus, December 19th.